performed by Erik Sanford.
How are you? Man, it's great to be back to Buhler. Good to be back. One of the things I noticed is taking over this country, factory outlet malls. God, they're everywhere. And who sold us on this idea? You go and you buy mistakes. You could buy a pair of pants with a collar, but you do because they're $5. And we shop there, my family shops there. We just bought this beautiful step-grandfather clock. This thing is, and I'm not making this up, in Branson, Missouri, they have a factory outlet mall store that sells the Bible with typos in it. Who's going to buy the book according to the word of God? Okay, class, now we're going to read about Saddam and Steve. Unfortunately, my travels, I have to fly a lot. I hate flying. I especially hate those little prop jobs where you walk around the tarmac and the guy's banging on the engine. You're like, what's wrong? Oh, the propeller's stuck. I'm on this plane. There's 8 rows on this plane. I'm in row 2. This behemoth of a man walks on with a belt buckle you can get DSS on. Walks on and he stops at my row. There's only 8 rows, so I figured he recognized me. I was like, can I help you? And he was like, yo, I believe you're in my seat. I said, no, he was like, oh, you're in row 8, man. They number them numerically. I've never been on a plane that numbered the rows 1, 17, 36, 5. See, people check their brains with their luggage. If I worked for the airlines doing my job would be to dress in street clothes and carry around the skinny part of a fishing rod. That real flexible part. And every time someone does something stupid, you just pop them on the neck, right there. So they have this big old red welt. Then they walk in the terminal and someone's like, oh, you screwed up on the plane, didn't you? And the airlines, they're scaring me to death, man. They had a plane land in Dallas with no wheels. What do you got, pilots power sliding into airports now? Get off. When I read about that plane, the first thing that came to mind was where they put dogs and cats on planes. Right underneath. So then there's some dog down there going, hey, 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 this ain't right. I'm telling you, Scruffy, something is wrong. My toenails are gone. They took the people off that plane, because luckily no one got hurt, and they put them on another jet of the same company. No, put me on a bus. And get this, that plane had aborted its takeoff because of engine trouble. If I'd been on that plane, I'd been screaming, hey, I got an idea. Why don't you just shoot us in the heads right now? I have no more clean underwear to change into. And in LA, they had a plane aborted its takeoff because another jet pulled in front of it. How big is a jet? Like a small motel? It's not like a squirrel dart out in front of this jet. What's this guy thinking? Like, here we go. Geez, got a plane right there. I find that shrub, didn't even see him. But the best is TWA recently had a door fall off. It just fell off. Well, I love the response. Well, a bird hit it. I don't want to meet the bird that can knock the door off of a jetliner. I thought they were extinct. And that's another thing. I think we try to figure out too much about animals. Here's a great example. In the California desert, they found the bones of a prehistoric porpoise. But its upper jaw stuck out a lot further than its lower jaw, so you know it gotta look like this. And they're already trying to figure out, was it used for like mating or catching fish or something? I'm like, what if it's just a goofy looking fish? You know, like a dorkfish. He's like, well, this ain't the ocean. Better fall me some water. Can you imagine you're out fishing and you caught a dorkfish? Because you know your friends are going to be like, hey man, what kind of fish is that? You're like, oh, nothing. Because you know that fish is going to pop his head out of that bucket. I'm a dorkfish. He caught me on a corn dog. I'm just swimming underneath the ocean. I say, what's corn dog doing under the ocean? But you know me, I love them dang corn dogs. I bit that bad boy, boom, I'm in his boat. That's the last thing I know. Can you imagine if they sold them at pet stores? Because you know how they say pets always look like their owners? It's like you go to a friend's house. Hey, Buford, what kind of fish is this? It's a dorkfish. I'm just fixing to feed it. What do you feed a dorkfish? Corn dogs? They just gobble them up. But you gotta take that stick out. They'll eat that stick. Beautiful day today, wasn't it? God, it was beautiful. I was standing outside the school this morning, and some guy walks by and I go, beautiful day today, isn't it? He goes, wait 5 minutes, it'll change. Everybody says that. But you know why? Because if you live in an area long enough, you know what the weather's going to be like. It seems to me the only people who are ever surprised by the weather are the people who report it on TV. Like, where I'm from in Kansas, it's just like here. In the winter, it's cold. The spring, it rains a little. Fall is beautiful. And in summer, it's hot and humid. Write it down. Every year, I hear a Kansas weatherman end his forecast by saying, I don't ever remember being this humid in Kansas ever before. Just once, I want to see a sports guy lean over and go, pow! Last August. Here's a guess. Probably next August. I think weathermen make stuff up too. Like the heat index, if it's 100 degrees outside, it feels like 100 degrees. Can you imagine if that worked as well in other areas of your life? Say you get pulled over by the cops. Mr. Sandburn, I clocked you at 103 miles an hour. Yeah, but it only felt like I was doing 55. Must be that speed index. The other day I ran into this guy I know who's a chief meteorologist. Apparently they travel in tribes. I didn't know this. And he tells me that the wind chill factor is not based on any scientific information. It's just how cold it would feel outside if you were standing there naked. Who's got that job? You know he's a smoker. It's like, hey Billy, it's about 9:45, why don't you strip down and head outside? Okay, just a second. Jeez, it's gonna be like 50 below out here. Alright, I'll put that in forecast, come inside. Just a second, let me finish this cigarette. And now they got a new one. The snowfall factor. That's how deep the snow would appear if you got drunk and fell face first in it. That's the job I want. You know, folks, there's history involved in humidity. 5,000 years ago, the Mississippi Indians traveled across this great nation. They left beautiful burial grounds and hieroglyphics. When the hieroglyphics were translated, you know what they said? Dang it, it's humid in August. Thank you, you guys have been great.
Hey, that was mine!